Love stories don't always end with happy smiles. Sometimes, they end with silence. With choices we don't understand. With tears that never stop burning. That's how my story begins. With her. And the day she left. Her name was Emily. She was my first love. My only love. We met in college. She was full of life. Her laughter filled every empty space around me. Her eyes, they carried a light that made the darkest days shine. And me? I was just a quiet boy. Lost in books. Too afraid to speak my heart. But somehow, she saw me. The real me. And she loved me anyway. We promised each other forever. We made plans. Late night talks about a small house, a family, and dreams we wanted to chase together. I believed her. Every word. Every smile. Every touch. Because when someone like Emily loves you, you start believing in miracles. But life has its own plans. Plans that don't ask for permission. One evening, she came to me with tears in her eyes. She held my hand, tighter than ever before. And then she whispered, words that shattered everything inside me. I'm getting married. I couldn't breathe. My world collapsed. I thought it was a joke. But it wasn't. Her parents had chosen someone else. A man with money. A man with status. A man they believed was better for her future. And Emily, the girl who once promised me forever, looked into my eyes. And begged me to understand. The day of her wedding. I stood outside the church. My heart, breaking with every sound of celebration. I didn't go inside. I couldn't. Instead, I listened to the bells. Watched the flowers fall. And realized, the love of my life, now belonged to someone else. But here's the part that hurts the most. She didn't stop loving me. Even after she married another man. Her heart, still belonged to me. Her eyes still searched for me in the crowd. Her letters, her whispers, her silence, all carried the same message. She still loved me. Even when the world said she couldn't. Marriage changes many things. But not the heart. The heart doesn't listen to rules. Or society. Or promises made under pressure. Emily's heart was still mine. Even though she wore another man's ring. Weeks turned into months. I tried to forget her. I tried to bury her smile, her touch, her laugh. But she didn't let me. Because Emily found ways. Small ways. To remind me that her love never ended. A late night text. A short phone call when her husband was away. A secret glance when we crossed paths in town. Every moment screamed the same truth. She still loved me. Even when the world said she couldn't. Marriage changes many things. But not the heart. The heart doesn't listen to rules. Or society. Or promises made under pressure. Emily's heart was still mine. Even though she wore another man's ring. Weeks turned into months. I tried to forget her. I tried to bury her smile, her touch, her laugh. But she didn't let me. Because Emily found ways. Small ways. To remind me that her love never ended. A late night text. A short phone call when her husband was away. A secret glance when we crossed paths in town. Every moment screamed the same truth. She still loved me. One evening, I found a letter slipped under my door. It was her handwriting. Shaking, but familiar. Inside, only a few lines. I'm sorry for everything. But my heart has never left you. It never will. I read it again and again. Tears blurring every word. Because I wanted to hate her. I wanted to move on. But how do you forget someone who still whispers your name in silence? But love like this is dangerous. Every call risked discovery. Every meeting risked destruction. And yet, we couldn't stop. Because walking away from each other felt worse than any punishment the world could give us. We weren't reckless. We weren't loud. But deep inside, we were still two people in love. Trapped. Chained by circumstances we couldn't control. It happened by accident. At the market. She was with her husband. I was alone. Our eyes met, just for a second. And in that second, the world stopped. She smiled, the kind of smile no one else could ever see. And I smiled back, though my chest ached with pain. Her husband noticed nothing. But I knew. We both knew. The fire between us had never died. At night, I lay awake, asking myself questions I couldn't answer. Should I let her go? Should I cut every string before it destroyed us both? Or, should I hold on? Even if it meant living in shadows? The truth was simple. I couldn't let her go. Because Emily wasn't just a memory. She was my heartbeat. Love cannot be hidden forever. No matter how much you try. It always finds a way to show itself. Emily's marriage was beginning to show cracks. Her smile in public was fading. Her laughter became rare. And her eyes always carried sadness only I could understand. One evening, she called me. Her voice was trembling. I don't know how much longer I can do this, she whispered. He doesn't understand me. He doesn't even try. I feel like I'm trapped in a life I never chose. I wanted to hold her. I wanted to tell her to leave him, to run back to me. But I stayed silent. Because love isn't always about what we want. Weeks later, we met again. This time, intentionally. At a small cafe, far from the town. She wore a scarf to hide her face. I wore fear in my eyes. When she sat across from me, I saw it. The pain. The longing. The same love, burning quietly in her chest. I still love you, she said. Her voice cracked with every word. And I always will. Those words should have healed me. But instead, they broke me even more. Because loving me meant, she was destroying herself. That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind screamed two voices. One said, fight for her. Take her back. She belongs with you. The other said, let her go. Don't ruin her life. Don't ruin yours. And in the middle of this war, was my heart. A heart that only beats for Emily. It wasn't long before her husband noticed. Not the truth. But the distance. He saw her silence. He saw the way her eyes wandered somewhere else. Somewhere he could never reach. And though he never said it, I knew he was beginning to suspect. One night, Emily came to me. Her hands are shaking. Tears rolling down her face. I can't do this anymore, she said. I'm dying inside. Every day feels like a lie. The only time I feel alive is when I'm with you. I looked at her, torn between love and fear. If she left him, the world would judge her. Her family would turn against her. Her reputation, destroyed. But if she stayed, she would die slowly. Piece by piece. And in that moment, I realized something. This love wasn't just about desire. It wasn't just about passion. It was about survival. For both of us. Because sometimes, the only way to save your soul is to follow your heart. Love gives life. But it also demands sacrifice. Emily stood before me. Her eyes are red from crying. Her voice trembling. "I can't live like this anymore," she whispered. "I can't keep pretending. I love you, and I always will. But I don't know if I have the strength to break everything around me." We met one final time. At the same park bench where we first confessed our love, years ago. The world moved around us. But for us, time stood still. She held my hand. Her fingers are cold. Her heart racing. "I wish things were different," she said softly. "I wish I had the courage to choose you back then. But now, everything is too tangled. Too broken." Tears filled my eyes. Because I knew, this was the end. I wanted to fight. I wanted to beg her to leave him, to come back to me. But I saw the fear in her eyes. The weight of the family. The prison of expectations. And I realized. Sometimes love isn't about holding on. Sometimes, it's about letting go. She leaned closer. Pressed her lips to mine. And in that single kiss, I felt every promise we had ever made. Every dream we had ever shared. Every heartbeat that belonged only to us. And then, she pulled away. "This is goodbye," she whispered. "But remember, no matter where life takes us, my heart was always yours." After she left, I watched her walk away. Step by step. Until she disappeared into the crowd. And just like that, my world went silent. But inside that silence, there was still an echo. Her love. Her memory. Something no one could ever take away. Years have passed since that day. I've tried to move on. But sometimes, late at night, I still hear her laugh. I still feel her touch. And I remind myself of one painful truth. She married another man. But she still loved me. And maybe that's the cruelest kind of love there is. So if you've ever loved someone you couldn't have, if you've ever lost them to the world, but still felt their love in silence, then you know my pain. Because some love stories are not meant to be lived. They're only meant to be remembered.